This is where you find the tallest towers and the desert with the most luxurious square kilometre in the world. This is where buildings multiply like mushrooms to attract the largest number of tourists. This is the United Arab Emirates, where the authorities are trying to decorate the country with mere covers to bury those inside these buildings and to cover their actions against those who raise their voice and boast about their humanity.
He is a courageous man. He's a man who's true to his beliefs. And I think he followed his beliefs irrespective of whatever danger there may have been in respect to defending those cases.
My first impression of Dr. Roken was this was a very courageous person. Somebody in my initial encounter with him who, when he agreed to speak on the phone with me, was willing and told me that the phone call was likely being monitored by the government, but even still was willing to talk to me about the way the UAE government works and the way the UAE government persecutes human rights activists and defenders.
Due to his qualifications, to his professionalisms, he would have had been a very high officer in the UAE government if he agreed to be among those who wanted that. But he didn't want that. He wanted really just to defend human rights and defend those people whose rights were violated.
Dr Al-Roken is an Emirati lawyer in the field of human rights who was born in 1962. He is a professor of constitutional law at the United Arab Emirates University and the author of many books and articles in the field of human rights and several other legal issues. In 2012, he was awarded the Al-Karama Human Rights Award, and he was nominated for the Lawyers for Lawyers Award.
During the award ceremony, the jury stated that Dr. Al-Roken is from a country, the United Arab Emirates, where the human rights situation is dire but often underexposed. They also stated that there were a lot of lawyers who wouldn't take on certain cases anymore because of the personal risks they involved, but Dr. Al-Roken kept doing his work and kept taking on these cases. They were informed that even during the UAE trial, 94 trial, he actually took on himself the defense of his co-defendants, which is a very impressive thing to do. The jury applauded him for the work he has done and also called for his release during the award ceremony.
Dr Al-Roken was also shortlisted for the Frontline Defenders Award in 2014. He has received many awards in his field of work from the United Arab Emirates and is a former advisor to the government on legal issues. Al-Roken was detained in July 2012 on charges of disturbing national security and planning to overthrow the regime with a large group of intellectuals and academics in the UAE. In 2013, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. In the early 1990s, after completing his law studies in England, Dr Al-Roken returned to the UAE to defend human rights and to work for the rule of law through his humanitarian activities, teaching at the university and working as a lawyer at his office. He further defended foreigners and Emiratis alike, as well as those who could not find any supporters because they were either foreigners or poor. They knew that Dr Al-Roken would defend them free of charge. In 2006, Al-Roken was arrested twice and banned from travelling on charges of sticking to the laws and not for violating them.
We were very reassured and we were very happy when we met him because we knew that we had someone reliable, professional. For example, when Al-Roken would give you an information, you rarely or actually didn't need to make any check on it. Because of course, when we do legal work, and this is of course the standard with which we worked, we have to make sure that anything we say in a situation about a victim is 100% confirmed and verified. It is very difficult to have this in the Arab world, as you may understand, due to the situation, due to the reprisals. With Dr. Al-Roken, when you got some information, you were sure that this is a fact. This is something true.
But what struck me so deeply is that this was somebody who was so committed to the cause of human rights and so committed to democracy, in furthering democracy in the United Arab Emirates, that he was willing to put himself on the line for that cause and to defend unpopular people in the country, to meet with human rights activists like myself, knowing that he could be thrown in jail for indefinitely in a country without really the rule of law, without a functioning judicial system that is really fair and impartial. He was sacrificing everything to fight for the cause of human rights and democracy.
أن تعمل في دولة شمولية مثل الإمارات ليس فيها احترام للرأي الآخر، وأن تقوم بالدفاع عن سجناء الرأي، هذا ليس شيئا هينا. فالعالم عرفه من خلال دفاعه المستميت عن سجناء الرأي وأخذه قضايا تعرض أي محامي للخطر، وقبل الخطر ولم يتراجع. وهذا هو بحد ذاته تعكس لنا طبيعة شخصيته، أنه يتمتع بالشجاعة عندما يتعلق الأمر بحقوق الناس التي قامت بانتهاكها السلطات الإماراتية وعلى رأسها جهاز أمن الدولة.
On March the 3rd, 2011, Dr. Al-Roken and 132 Emirati intellectuals and academics submitted a petition to the President of the UAE in which they cordially asked that the UAE enters a new era in the legislative sphere and that the members of the parliament be elected popularly and not appointed by the authorities. The response was contrary to all expectations and customs.
They all wanted some change. The petition asked for some introduction of some sort of political reform, right? But there was nothing violent involved about that or anything. That what people have, you know, even the laws of the country say yes, people will have got the right to have opinion and to ask for things. There is nothing there. That is, but obviously there was some fear that this movement was going to be big from the charges that were put forward. That's what it suggests, even though these people have not really used the violence or called for the use of violence.
هذه العريضة مطلبها الرئيسي كما أشرنا أن تكون في المجلس الوطني انتخابات كاملة وأن يكون كامل الصلاحية، وذكرنا أن هذا متوافق مع أصلا دستور دولة الإمارات. اللي حصل أن هاي العريضة جاءت في وقت الربيع العربي، فهذه قرأت قراءة من قبل الحكومة أن يعني هذه الجهات تريد أن تستغل الربيع العربي وموجة الربيع العربي، فكانت هذه العريضة لها تداعياتها المختلفة. من أولى هذه التداعيات أن تم تجريد 6 أو 7 من منتسبي جمعية الإصلاح من جنسية الإمارات. فانبرى الدكتور الركن كمحامي زين وصاحب مكتب محاماة للدفاع عن هذه المجموعة.
هو الاعتقال الدكتور الركن لم يأتي من فراغ، يعني كان هناك جو منتشر في المنطقة العربية، وهو أساسا الثورات العربية التي كانت سائدة في تلك الفترة التي جعلت نظام الحكم داخل الإمارات يرتج نوعا ما من هذه الثورات ويخشى من أن تنتقل عدوى الثورات إلى الإمارات، وهو يعني طبعا مخاوف لم تكن في محلها لأن الأجواء لم تكن تسمح بذلك في الإمارات، إضافة إلى أن أغلب الحقوقيين والنشطاء كانوا ضمن نظام الحكم، كانوا يتعاونون مع نظام الحكم ولم يكن هناك يعني خلافات كبيرة معهم.
His studies and writings on the UAE's right to the islands occupied by Iran did not plead in his favor. Neither did his guidance in several classes in the UAE for students to graduate in legal studies. Al-Roken did not even find any law in the UAE that could help him, although he knew them by heart. He was detained in July 2012. The charge that everyone knew, but the authorities did not reveal, was his defense of the detainees who were stripped of their UAE nationality against the background of the petition signed by Dr Al-Roken himself.
Mohammed was detained in July 2012 while out looking for his son Mohammed and son-in-law Abdullah Al-Hajri. He was detained according to the United Arab Emirates government in connection with his activities as a member of a foreign organization seeking to overthrow the UAE. That's not a view that human rights activists the world over accept. In our view, he was arrested arbitrarily for the peaceful exercise of his right to expression, association, and indeed assembly. His arrest, I think, was sadly politically motivated.
All those who have been informed of the arrest and trial of Al-Roken have learned that he was arrested violently from his car while he was looking for his son, who he later knew had also been detained. He was taken to an unknown location.
There is no legal basis for his detention. And the government tried to create accusations which are, of course, purely political in nature. That means that he would undermine the state security, that he belonged to a group trying to overthrow the government. This is something which I know for sure is not true. Al-Roken was a lawyer, was a human rights defender. He believed in the rule of law. And, you know, you could always find out from people's reactions, the way they speak, the way they act, what they are able to do. I have never spotted, even in making jokes, any word in Roken's discussion saying that, oh, let's overthrow this government. He never said that. He always said, I want the rule of law in my country. My dream is to have a constitution. My dream is to have elections in my country. And of course, these words that I just mentioned are indeed very negatively viewed in a country like the UAE or most of the states in the region. You should not speak about elections. You should not speak about constitution. You should not speak about the rule of law. Whereas these are the basis of any really democratic country.
هو الراجل طالب بإصلاحات قانونية. إصلاحات. ما في يعني دي مش جريمة. ليست جريمة. فين الجريمة؟ ما فيش. دائما الاتهامات الفضفاضة اللي هو الأمن القومي. هل الأمن القومي يعني المطالبة بإصلاحات قانونية ده ضد الأمن القومي؟ يعني دي محتاجة حد يتمتع بقدر واسع من الغباء عشان يقتنع.
A whole year passed between the arrest of Dr Al-Roken and the issuance of the sentence against him. Al-Roken used to say, "We are prisoners of a hijacker and not prisoners subject to laws." His words were proved by the fact that he is a man of law and knows the laws very well, on the basis of which he should be tried. The state security court that tried him lacked the slightest degree of objectivity and integrity and sentenced him to 10 years in prison without any clear charge or tangible offense.
المجتمع الدولي تعاطف وتضامن وعمل ما بوسعه. أرسلنا المحامين لمراقبة المحاكمة، ولكن السلطات كانت قد أخذت قرارها حتى قبل المحاكمة بأن تسجنهم. القرار اتخذ من أعلى المستويات، ومحكمة من الدولة ما كانت إلا الأداة التي نفذت إرادة سياسية.
As in the usual way, he was detained in the UAE. That means a raid by police officers, most of them in civilian clothes, taking by force and of course making him disappear. His family did not know about him for long times, and he had no access to a lawyer. He was in solitary, incommunicado detention, alone, of course submitted to a harsh environment which amounts to torture. I mean, deprived from sleeping, put sometimes in very cold or in very hot cells, not be able to communicate with the outside world. So that's the modus operandi from the UAE is really known today. And he was, I think, among the first from the Emirati, because we had other cases from non-Emirati who had suffered that in the UAE before. But as Emiratis, I think he was among the first who had suffered that, that harsh detention and that way of being arrested.
He was held incommunicado for a long period, months. And that is the worst thing that can happen, because then the detainee is very vulnerable to torture, to bad treatment. The international standards require that they should have a prompt access to lawyers, to families, so that torture and ill treatment doesn't happen. When the person is locked away in like that, incommunicado, that means anything can happen.
The information the UAE has about his detention conditions are extremely worrying. He's been detained in a remote place. There are allegations of torture through very loud music being played on a regular basis in his cell, to the point that it endangered his ears. I think we are to be aware that these detention conditions are not acceptable, that they amount to torture, and that, you know, a country like the UAE, who is willing to show a face of progress, of modernity, should not have such detention conditions.
إنه تعرض ل يعني معاملة قاسية وحتى بالكرامة تصل إلى التعذيب. وفي المحاكمة لم يمكن المحامين من تقديم الدفاع. فإحنا عندنا سلسلة من الانتهاكات اتعرض لها. اتقبض عليه وقعد سنة. يعني مش معروف موجود فين. عرفنا بعد كده إنه في سجن اسمه الركن في الإمارات. وإنه أسيء معاملته رغم إنه في حوزتهم، بس أسيء معاملته. فإحنا عندنا هنا إساءة معاملة ترقى إلى التعذيب. وحينما حوكم لم يمكن محامين من تقديم دفاع محاكمة غير عادلة، وهو نفسه كان يقدر يدافع، لكنه حرم من ده. في نقطة في كتير من الزملاء يعني في الإمارات أو المؤسسات الحقوقية والقانونية اللي بتشتغل أغفلوها، لكن باعتباري عربي وعارف إن الإمارات بتستقدم قضاة من بره الإمارات، بقول إنه القضاء ليس عادل تماما في الإمارات. والقضاة كتير، مش هقول كلهم، لكن كتير منهم لما بيروح القاضي هو لا يدور على تطبيق العدل، يدور على رضا الجهة اللي استقدمته.
الظروف التي مر بها بعدين في المحاكمة كانت محاكمة جائرة، كانت محاكمة غير عادلة، لأنهم تعرضوا إلى التعذيب، والدكتور الركن أيضا تحدث على ما تعرضوا له من تعذيب وأمام القاضي، ولكن لم يؤخذ بالاعتبار كل تلك ادعاءات التعذيب، وهو ما يعتبر إضافة إلى أنه وقع إخفاؤهم قسرا واعتقالهم تعسفيا يعني لفترة أشهر بمعزل عن العالم. كل هذه كانت مخالفة للمعايير الدولية في المحاكمات العادلة، ولذلك كانت محاكمات جائرة، وشهدت بذلك منظمات دولية وحتى الهيئات الدولية في تقاريرها شهدت بأنها كانت محاكمة غير عادلة. والمقررة الخاصة بالاستقلال القضاء أيضا عندما زارت الإمارات عاينت ذلك بنفسها، وعاينت أن نظام المحاكم لم يكن عادلا ونظام القضاء لم يكن عادلا في الإمارات، وهو ما يجعل أن المحاكمات في تلك الفترة التي وقعت أيضا محاكمات جائرة.
He was taken to an unknown location. He was tried a year later in a comic way that appeared as if he had been sentenced in advance, and what was happening in the court was a mere mockery. He was then taken to the Al Razeen prison, known for its bad reputation in the whole Arab region.
كل دولة عندها سجون مشهورة بالسمعة السيئة. هذا السجن في الإمارات سمعته سيئة، زي سجن الملز والحاير اللي في السعودية، ده سجن العقرب اللي في مصر، زي سجن صدنايا في سوريا. في سجون بتكتسب سمعة سيئة بطبيعتها، هذا السجن منهم. ده نفسه كمان يعني عدم وجود زيارات. ما قيل، أنا ما كنتش موجود، بس ما سمعناه من إنه هو يعني زي ما بيقولوا موضوع سماعات في السجن، واحيانا السماعات يعني انه يتم التجسس عليهم جوه السجن. ده النظام اللي اعرفه اللي كان بيعمل ده هو نظام بشار اسد، انه كان بيسجل المساجين جوه السجون، او انه يشغلوا لهم اغاني وطنيه اللي هو الرخيصه.
في رايي ان ظروف الدكتور ركن في السجن هي قاسيه. لماذا؟ اعطيك مثل. انه محكوم بالسجن لمده 10 سنوات، وفي خلال فتره اخفائه وفتره الحكم عليه والان وهو في السجن لا يسمح له بالزيارات المباشره. الزيارات تتم من خلال جدار زجاجي. هذا شيء قاسي جدا، أن لا تسمح للسجين أن يرى أسرته إلا من خلال جدار زجاجي. ما هي الخطورة التي يشكلها الدكتور ركن لكي لا تسمح له بأن يلتقي بأفراد أسرته؟ هذا شيء غير إنساني ويعارض المبادئ التي ذكرتها، مبادئ حدود الدنيا لمعاملة السجناء التي أقرتها الأمم المتحدة ووقعتها الإمارات. وبعد ذلك نأتي إلى مصادرة كتبه. هو مفكر، الرجل مفكر، ألف كتبا، لماذا تمنع عنه الكتب؟ هذا أيضا إجراء قمعي في حدوده العليا. وبعد ذلك نأتي إلى وضعه في زنزانة انفرادية. الدكتور ركن إنسان اجتماعي، يعني لماذا تضعه في زنزانة انفرادية؟ لقد صدر الحكم الباطل، والآن تضعه في زنزانة انفرادية. لماذا هذا العقاب؟ ماذا فعل؟ ما هي تهمته؟
سجن الرزين هو قبل كل شيء سجن صحراوي، يعني بما يعنيه ذلك من صعوبة الوصول إلى المنطقة، من عزلة يعني في منطقة معزولة، وإضافة إلى ذلك أن هذا السجن عرف بأنه من السجون القديمة، وبالتالي فليس فيه يعني طبعا تهيئة هامة خاصة يعني مطابقة للمعايير الدولية لمعاملة السجناء أو للمباني التي تخص المساجين. إضافة إلى ذلك أنه عرف بأنه غوانتنامو الإمارات لخصوصية التعذيب داخله ولخصوصية سوء المعاملة التي تقع داخل ذلك السجن الذي سيء الذكر، الذي وقع تسخيره ليكون معتقلا وسجنا خاصا بمجموعة الإمارات 94 ليقع التنكيل بهم داخل ذلك السجن. أحيانا يقع عائلتهم تزورهم يعني وتقطع مسافات طويلة، مثل الدكتور الركن يعني الذي في مرات عديدة والدته التي كانت كبيرة في السجن يعني تقطع مسافة طويلة مئات الكيلومترات لتزوره في سجن رزين في الصحراء قاحلة، ثم بعد ذلك يمنعون عنها الزيارة ويقولوا لها لا، اليوم لا تقدرين أن تزوري ابنك. فكان هذا نوع من وتقف في شمس حارقة يعني، والعائلات دائما يعني يقع التنكيل بها بهذه الطريقة بمنعها من الزيارة، بمحاولة أنها تقع في طوابير طويلة. إضافة إلى أنه داخل السجن نفسه رأيته كثير من المرات يقع التنكيل بالمساجين ومعاقبتهم بالسجن الانفرادي، أيضا انتشار الأوساخ داخل السجن، بحرمانهم من الأكل الجيدة أو حرمانهم من الأكل أحيانا، إضافة حرمانهم من تغيير الملابس أو إعطائهم ملابس جديدة، يعني محاولة إهانتهم بقدر ما يمكن.
The more awards Dr. Al-Roken receives, he is still receiving awards while in prison, the greater the abuse within the prison. The Ludovic Trario Prize, named after the French lawyer Ludovic Trario and inaugurated in 1984, is the most inveterate prize awarded to a lawyer who has dedicated his life to defending human rights and the rule of law. The first prize was awarded to Nelson Mandela, the President of South Africa, in 1985. And the last prize was awarded to Dr. Mohammed Al-Roken in 2017. It is noteworthy that both received their prize whilst in prison.
We finally received his candidacy by NGOs to be elected for the Human Rights Prize Ludovic Trario in 2017. He chose to risk all he has won to defend democracy and human rights, and the others. It's the model, the expression of what is for a lawyer and also for a man, courage.
Ailing questions remain, raised by human conscience. Why would Dr. Al-Roken be arrested? Why was he sentenced to 10 years? Why is he abused and incarcerated in Al-Razin prison? Many whys come to mind whenever we hear new information about the kidnapped detainee.
وأنا أرى أن خلفية هذه المعاملة هي رسائل توصل من خلال هذه المعاملة، من خلال الكيفية التي يعتقل بها النشطاء، رسالة توصل إلى كل المواطنين. نحن العائلة المالكة نوزع النقود عليكم، نعطيكم الوظائف، لا تتدخلوا في الشأن العام وإلا سيكون هذا مصيركم. حتى في السجن سوف لن تنتهوا وسوف تأتيكم الإساءات أيضا. هي رسالة سيئة للغاية لدولة تريد أن تسوق نفسها كدولة متحضرة تشتري نوادي كرة القدم.
الإمارات يعني ما بقاش دورها قاصر على الإمارات أو اللي هو تشويه المدافعين في الإمارات. الآن أنا كمواطن مصري بعاني إن الإمارات بتدعم منظمات فالصو أو جنجز أو متواطئة حقوقية عربية، أولاً توظيفها سياسياً لتشويه خصومها أياً كانوا، وأيضاً لتشويه المدافعين الحقوقيين اللي في الإمارات.
These are absolute rulers, totalitarian rulers. They do not accept any questioning about the way they deal with the country. The country is, in their view, something private. They do whatever they want, and no one, even a UAE citizen, has the right to question that.
He's got no will or capacity, either together or with his alleged co-conspirators, to do such a thing. So why the government felt it necessary to use flawed legislation, flawed procedures, construed as a security matter, to detain and then imprison these people, leaves us baffled, absolutely speechless.
بدل من انه يبقى ليها دور في دعم سيادة القانون، بقت الإمارات زي ما بيقولوا محور مهم من محاور اللي بتحاول تهدم الديمقراطية في العالم العربي.
People like Al-Roken, and this is his own word, he said, look, I am an Emirati just like the ruler, and I want to be a citizen. I have duties, of course, to be faithful to my country, to do what is good for my country, but I also have rights. I have the rights to have my word in what is good for the collectivity, for the country, for the people. I think this was the biggest crime, between brackets, that Al-Roken has committed. The UAE rulers would never forgive that.
It's not in keeping with the international standards that they claim to uphold and to represent and to advance. And it's a flagrant violation of human rights. Dr. Mohammed Al-Roken, Ahmed Mansour, Nasser bin Baith and others, they really should be released immediately and unconditionally. There's really no question about it. We don't get it. I've asked Dr. Anwar Al-Gargash in Twitter on many occasions, why is this happening? But we never get any response.
His crime, if crime can be defined as such, and unfortunately it is in the UAE, is that he wanted to be treated as a citizen who has the rights and duties and protected by the rule of law. And this is unacceptable for the government of the UAE.